A very good morning to all our Sports Today family members. And yesterday, finally, we got to know the India squad for the West Indies tour. The tests and the ODI squads were announced. By a clear indication, it seems as if the transition phase in the Indian Test team has already begun. Cheteshwar Pujara has been axed, Umesh Yadav has also been dropped, and that's why Yashasvi Jaiswal has been called into the team. It's his maiden call up to the India squad. Remember, he was there in the ICC World Test Championship reserves. And you also saw Rituraj Gaikwad getting included in the ODI squad as well. Ishan Kishan, KS Bharat, they are all still in the Indian Test team as well. So there were two major talking points. One, Abhimanyu Easwaran, he was not included. Another one, Sarfaraz. Now, Sarfaraz and Easwaran have been doing the hard grinds when it comes to the Indian domestic system. Sarfaraz has been doing consistently well in Ranji Trophy cricket. Easwaran has been doing well in the A tours. When India had gone for an A tour to Bangladesh, Easwaran had shown with an average of over 70. But both Abhimanyu Easwaran and Sarfaraz Khan have not been included in this test team for the West Indies too. Remember, this is one test series that's going to happen now. After that, you don't play tests until December 2023 when India go to South Africa. Now, the selection call for Abhimanyu Easwaran and Sarfaraz Khan that did not come, it elicited a lot of sharp criticism from some sections of the Indian team management. What is the signal? What is the signal that we are giving to the likes of Sarfaraz and Easwaran? Playing domestic cricket is not worth it. Playing A tours is not worth it. That is what former India batter Abhinav Mukund has said. Abhinav Mukund tweeted and said, "Unable to understand these selections. Too many thoughts in my head to compile into a tweet. But what is the incentive for a young player to take pride in playing for a state anymore? Clearly, the franchisee route is faster way to scale the grade." And even Sunil Gavaskar, when he spoke exclusively to Sports Today, he had said, "Why should a youngster play Ranji Trophy cricket?" It's a clear indication that in this current modern era, whoever does well in the IPL, irrespective of this blatant fact that you are mixing up formats, it does not work because whoever does well in the IPL, he will get the chance in the Indian cricket team. Domestic cricket performances and all are just a very, very sorry footnote. That's what the Ranji Trophy and all the other domestic systems have been reduced to in India. Because remember, when was the last time you recollect an Indian player breaking through into the side on the back of very good Ranji Trophy performances? You have to go 5 years back to Mayank Agrawal. Mayank Agrawal got a chance in the Indian cricket team, but after doing well in 2-3 seasons of the Ranji Trophy from 15 onwards. At that time, he broke through the Indian cricket team and he got the chance to play in the Australia series. He had a very good 2 to 3 years. After that, he was discarded. Now, in this context, let us look at Sarfaraz and Easwaran. Easwaran has been doing very, very well, and he's also been made the sacrificial lamb also in a way because East Zone, Dulip Trophy, Abhimanyu Easwaran is going to be the captain of East Zone. This came after two incidents. Ridhiman Saha vacated his position saying that this position should go to a youngster. That's a very noble call by Ridhiman Saha. Ishan Kishan went incommunicado, meaning he didn't even communicate to the selectors that, oh, I'm not going to, don't include me in the Dulip Trophy East Zone team. Suddenly, after 2-3 days, he confirmed that yes, he's going to the NCA for strength and conditioning. Only because of that, I'm not going to play the Dulip Trophy. So, Easwaran had to take up the captaincy reins of the Dulip Trophy for East Zone. Because of that now, Sarfaraz is also there in the West Zone team, and what has happened in that? Great Ranji Trophy season for 2 to 3 years, 2-3 seasons, over 900 runs, close to 1000 runs. He still doesn't merit a place in this Indian cricket team. Look at what has happened with Ajinkya Rahane. Had a pretty middling first class season, 600 plus runs. But what was the main path by which he came to the Indian cricket team? The Indian Premier League. Had he not had those good performances against for Kolkata Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians for Chennai Super Kings, he would probably have not made the cut. Visibility, much more visibility, and that is why Ajinkya Rane made it. And also because he was aided by some very good fortune from Shreyas Iyer's injury. Had Iyer not gotten injured, Rahane would not even have been considered. Now, because of this transition, because he's been appointed as the vice captain, maybe there is a succession plan in place. Maybe. But with the Indian selection and with the way how it is going, you can never ever tell. Because maybe 2023 ODI World Cup, Rohit Sharma makes a big decision on which format he wants to quit. If he quits tests, he just focuses on white ball alone, maybe just T20 ice. Maybe Rahane takes over as the stopgap captain for 2 years. Remember, this cycle has begun in July 2023 onwards until June 2025, the final at Lords. You would want a captain for a period of 2 years. Now, who will you look at as a long-term or a stopgap arrangement? You will probably look at Ajinkya Rane. Because Rahane at this point is 34. By the end of the 2025 cycle, he will be 36. Rohit, on the other hand, will be 38. Do you see Rohit Sharma play in 2025 in the World Test Championship final? It looks highly unlikely. And remember, you would want to have your best youngsters in this particular series. Why? Because the remainder of the tours that India have is not easy in this cycle. You are playing 2 tests or 3 tests against South Africa away. You're going to play 5 tests against England, this baseball England at home. Then you've got 5 tests against the current world test champions Australia away. So it is not going to be easy. Just you cannot give the youngsters a chance in South Africa. If they don't perform, then you'll once again criticize the domestic system. You'll criticize the consistency of the players. So it is a catch-22. This was the right time to make the changes. You could have included some more players into the talent pool, but unfortunately now India have missed this opportunity. So even Sunil Gavaskar stated that the chances of making big changes and that too of making good changes, that opportunity has been missed. So Sunil Gavaskar was also not happy with the way how Cheteshwar Pujara has been dealt. Because remember, Gavaskar clearly mentioned, why are you making Cheteshwar Pujara a scapegoat for India's batting failures? You look at the entire top order in the World Test Championship final, no one scored a 50. No one. Barring Ajinkya Rahane and Shardul Thakur. That's a damning statistic indeed, because no one scored a 50 apart from those two. The top order in both innings failed. Shubman Gill failed, Rohit Sharma failed, Virat Kohli failed. Unfair on Cheteshwar Pujara that he gets the entire criticism. And with this axing from the West Indies tour, it seems to be game over for Cheteshwar Pujara. But never say never in Indian cricket. We don't know how that will once again come up. So very sad for Cheteshwar Pujara, and chances of him making a comeback are very, very low indeed. Now, from one legend, when we have already spoken about the Indian Test team selection, we'll focus on the Ashes now. James Anderson says he's done. But hold on, it's not for retirement. It is not for anything else. James Anderson, the kind of pitch that was dished out in Edgbaston, he says if these kind of pitches are dished out on a regular basis in the Ashes series, he is done. His contributions done. He doesn't think that he can contribute any more like what he has already done, because it was Anderson who surprisingly looked pedestrian in the Edgbaston test. He struggled for movement, he struggled for rhythm, he was not getting that much assistance of the deck. Maybe a negative effect of baseball, flat pitches. You often thought that maybe Anderson's potency could be negated. But remember, this is the same James Anderson who did very well on those national highways in Pakistan. So it is a really, really catch-22 situation even for James Anderson. Do you dish out green pitches and negate baseball? Or do you want to have flat pitches and ensure you continue the baseball technique? So James Anderson is really, really frustrated on the way how the pitches are. I'll be doing a special video on that, so stay tuned. Now, from the world of cricket, let us move our attention to other sports. And unfortunately, H.S. Pranoy, his journey in the Chinese Taipei Open ended when he lost in straight games. And because of that, India's presence in the Chinese Taipei 300 tournament is over. No Indians are left in the fray, and this continues a rather inconsistent trend that has set in Indian badminton at this time. But in the world of hockey, we lost a very, very good player yesterday. He died a very lonely death. Rajiv Mishra. I have done a video on who is Rajiv Mishra. You can check that out on Sports Today. And basically, in the dark period of the 90s when India was struggling in hockey, in the Junior World Cup, they reached the final. And it was all thanks to Rajiv Mishra's exploits. He was the leading goal scorer in that eight. And he was the key factor in India beating the then reigning champions Germany in the Junior Hockey World Cup at that time. Two injuries, misdiagnosis, and in the end, the apathy and the brutal lack of care that Hockey India had shown under KPS Gill at that point all meant that Rajiv Mishra could no longer be what he was. And that is why he then became a TT, a ticket collector in Banaras for Northern Railways. And he indeed died a very lonely death. So as an Indian sporting fan, we apologize to Rajiv Mishra. This was not the way how it should have been. And it's a very sad day indeed for Indian hockey. Now, on the other hand, if you look at it, the wrestling saga has become a bit more ugly if you look at it. Because only one bout has been decided for the likes of Vinesh Fogart, Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik and three other wrestlers. This Jitendra Kumar, Satyavat Kardian and Sangeeta Fogart as well. Only one bout. The rest of the wrestlers will have to go through a full trial and their names will be submitted before the July 15th deadline. However, the condition is these six wrestlers will face off in their weight categories of whoever won. And they will have that one bout. If they win that bout, they will go to the Asian Games and the World Championships. Yogeshwar Dutt has called this a very, very black day in wrestling. But Vinesh Fogart has unleashed a real stinging criticism of Yogeshwar Dutt. And that's why this saga has become even more uglier. So, was it fair that these wrestlers who were protesting for close to 6 months but who have not been on the mat for close to a year, they get only one bout and they get a chance to go to the Asian Games and in the World Championships? What about the other wrestlers who got to go through the full grind of the trials and face off in one game and their names are cut off? That is a different proposition altogether. And remember, we are approaching even closer to the WFI elections as well. It's on July 11th. If reports are to be believed, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and his son are going to cast the ballot in the WFI elections as well. So that is going to open up a new can of worms indeed. So it is indeed, we are building up to the second Ashes test. We are also recovering from the test and the ODI selection that was in the T20 selection will be done slightly later, maybe towards July first week in that period. So lots to look forward to today. We are building up to the second Ashes test as well. We are also building up to the India tour of the West Indies. So subscribe to Sports Today for all the latest news and analysis. Tap the bell icon so that you know when we go live. And don't forget, we are on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well. Download the AajTak mobile app for all the information you need in Hindi and English in the world of sports. Bye-bye.